Okay, I have a question for you. And be honest.
Okay.
How many saved articles are in your browser right now? The ones that are supposed to make you a better person.
Oh, wow.
You know, the ones, 10 ways to optimize your morning, how to finally find inner peace, all of that.
If we're counting the ones I've bookmarked and never actually read,
Yeah.
hundreds. I mean, easily.
Right. It's this background hum in our lives, this
Yeah.
feeling that we are just one book or one seminar or one, breakthrough away from finally arriving.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're putting together a puzzle of ourselves and we're just missing that one little corner piece that's probably under the couch.
It's the condition of the modern seeker.
Mm.
We're always waiting for the future version of ourselves to show up and save the day.
But what if that whole premise is a lie? What if the act of looking for that piece is the exact reason you can't finish the puzzle?
Oof.
Today, we are doing a deep dive into a text that is, honestly, a little bit infuriating. It's called The End of Seeking.
Infuriating is the right word. When I first read these excerpts, I actually felt defensive.
Yeah.
Because this text doesn't give you a new strategy for self-improvement. It basically tells you that your whole desire to improve is the problem.
It just flips the entire script. The core premise here is that seeking isn't about finding something you don't have. It's a misunderstanding of where you already are.
The argument is pretty radical. It suggests that trying to get there, wherever you think there, is the very thing preventing you from arriving.
So our mission today is to figure out why we're all running on this hamster wheel, why this text thinks we should just jump off, and what actually happens if we do. Because frankly, the idea of stopping sounds terrifying.
It sounds like giving up.
Exactly. It sounds like quitting. But apparently it's the only way to win. So let's get into it.
Okay, so the text opens with the definition that really sets the stage. It says very simply, seeking presumes absence.
Seeking presumes absence. Okay, let's unpack that. It sounds kind of obvious, doesn't it?
It does.
I mean, if I'm looking for my keys, it's because I don't know where they are. They are absent. If I'm seeking peace, it's because I feel anxious.
And that's the logical trap. In the physical world, seeking works perfectly. If you don't have bread, you go to the store, you get bread.
Right.
But the text argues we take this same logic and apply it to our internal state. We assume that because we don't feel whole, we must be broken.
Or that something essential is missing, like from our factory settings.
Yes. So we create this gap. There's me here, who's anxious and incomplete.
And me there, in the future, who is calm and enlightened and probably has a better morning routine.
And the seeker lives entirely in that gap.
Yeah.
The text calls it the future state.
Yeah.
You become obsessed with more knowledge, more purity, better emotional regulation.
Your whole life becomes this project to bridge the gap between who you are now and who you think you should be.
Exactly.
I feel so called out. I mean, isn't that just ambition? Isn't that just growth? If I stop trying to bridge that gap, don't I just become stagnant?
That is the million-dollar question. And the text argues that this isn't genuine growth, it's a repair job. It says the self feels incomplete and tries to repair that incompleteness through, experience, belief, practice.
Like we're just patching holes in drywall.
Yes, but with spiritual badges. I meditated for an hour today, so I'm a little less broken.
Right. I read this philosophy book, so I'm a little more complete.
The source calls this spiritual seeking as a form of performance.
Performance. That's a heavy word.
It implies we're acting out a role, the role of the good person or the spiritual person. We hope if we perform the role long enough, the costume will kind of fuse to our skin and become real.
But that's not what it says.
The text is brutal here. It says you can't perform your way into reality.
Because the entire premise is wrong from the start.
The premise is that you are broken. The text says you aren't. So all that glue and tape you're trying to apply to your soul, it's not sticking because there's no crack to begin with.
Okay, but hold on. I can hear the listener right now, and I'm thinking it too. Saying, that sounds nice, very poetic, but I feel broken. I feel incomplete. If I'm not actually missing anything, why does it feel so strongly like I am?
And that brings us to the second huge concept in the text. Misalignment.
Misalignment, not absence.
Right. The text defines enlightenment not as acquiring some new thing or a new state of mind, but as a correction of vision. It says the problem isn't that you don't have it, it's that you're facing the wrong direction.
The analogy it uses is, it's pretty vivid. It says the seeker is already standing inside what they are looking for, but facing away from it.
Imagine you're standing in this beautiful warm house, but you're facing the corner, just staring at a blank wall, shivering, completely convinced you're outside in the cold.
Okay.
So you start planning a journey to find warmth. You buy maps, you hire guides, you set up a treadmill in that corner and start walking.
And you're working so hard, you're sweating, you're putting in all this effort.
You're working incredibly hard, but you will never find the warmth because you're trying to go to it instead of just realizing you're already in it.
You don't need to travel. You just need to turn around.
That's it.
This distinction between going forward and reorienting, that seems crucial. Because going forward implies I need to add stuff skills, virtues, focus.
Right. Addition.
But reorienting implies I need to drop things.
The text uses the word relinquish. The work is subtraction, not addition. Not to become, but to cease pretending.
Cease pretending what?
Cease pretending that you're separate from everything. Cease pretending that you're a project that needs to be fixed.
That sounds incredibly difficult. I mean, we love pretending we're projects. It gives us something to do.
Of course.
If I'm a project, I have a clear to-do list. If I'm not a project, I'm just here.
And that's why the text says enlightenment feels like stopping. It doesn't feel like a big fireworks show. It feels like the engine just cutting out.
Which brings us to the part of the text that really stuck with me. Because if the answer is just stop and turn around, well, why don't we do it? Why do we keep buying the books? And the text suggests the seeking itself is actually a defense mechanism.
This is the idea of refined avoidance. And this is where it gets a bit psychological. It argues that we seek in order to avoid finding.
Wait, run that by me again. We seek to avoid finding. That makes no sense.
Think about it this way. The text says, motion prevents stillness. As long as you are on the path, as long as you are the noble seeker, you get to live in the future.
You get to live in the fantasy of who you will be.
Right. But if you stop, you have to face who you are right now.
Oh. So the seeking is a buffer. It's a distraction.
It's a brilliant delay tactic.
Yeah.
I'll deal with my anger issues once I finish this course on mindfulness.
Or I'll really connect with my family once I get this promotion. The effort postpones the contact.
It reminds me of,
Yeah.
well, of me, cleaning my entire house when I have a big deadline. I'm doing work, right? Cleaning is productive. But really, I'm just avoiding writing the script.
It's exactly that. And the text mentions that ancient traditions warned against this very trap. They warned against endless practices, constant teachers, and perpetual novelty.
And perpetual novelty. That phrase hits so hard in the age of the algorithm.
It really does.
It's the spiritual tourist. You visit Buddhism, you take a photo, you visit Stoicism, you buy the t-shirt, you visit biohacking, get the supplements.
And it feels like progress because it's always new. You get that little dopamine hit from the new concept.
But you never actually move in. You just keep touring the model homes.
Because moving in means dealing with the leaky faucet and the creaky floorboards of your actual reality. Seeking lets you stay in the glossy brochure.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's say we get it. We realize we're tourists. We realize we're staring at the wall in the warm house. And we stop. The text talks about two phases here, revelation and integration. And I think this is where people get really tripped up.
Absolutely. Because we expect the stopping to just fix everything instantly.
Yep. Right. We think, okay, I get it. I'm already whole. Nothing is missing. And then 5 minutes later, someone cuts us off in traffic and we completely lose our minds.
The text is very realistic about this. It says the revelation, that moment of seeing, is immediate. It's a flash. You realize the treadmill is going nowhere.
Okay.
But integration, actually living in alignment with that sight, can be agonizingly slow.
So why is it so slow? If I know the truth, why can't I just live it?
Momentum. Think of a big old ceiling fan. If you pull the plug, the electricity cuts out instantly. That's the revelation.
Okay, the power's off.
But the blades keep spinning for a long, long time, just from their own momentum, just because of how fast they were going before.
That's a helpful image. The old habits, the anxiety, the defensiveness, the needing to be right, those are the spinning blades.
They are echoes of the old operating system.
Mm-hmm.
The text says, what follows is not further searching, but living in alignment with what has already been seen.
So the work changes. It's no longer about finding the answer. It's about what? Just catching yourself.
It's about notice. You just notice, oh, there I go again, trying to earn my worth. And because, deep down it's a lie. You don't engage with it as much. You don't feed it. But it takes time for the whole system to settle down.
I can imagine this is the part where people give up. They have the insight, but the blades are still spinning, so they think, well, that didn't work. Back to the self-help aisle.
Or they think they did it wrong.
Yeah.
I must not be enlightened because they still got angry. The text says that's a total misunderstanding. Integration is messy. It's not a state of perfection. It's a state of honesty.
Honesty. I like that. So let's push this to the practical conclusion, the so what of all this.
Yeah.
The biggest fear I have, and I think a lot of high achievers have, is that if we stop seeking, if we stop trying to be better, we'll just become vegetables.
The couch potato enlightenment theory.
Exactly. If I'm already whole, why bother going to work? Why bother exercising? Why bother helping anyone?
And this is where the text completely diverges from nihilism. It says, after enlightenment, action continues. But then it adds this fascinating line. Responsibility deepens. Attention sharpens.
How does responsibility deepen if I've stopped trying so hard?
Well, think about how much energy you spend just managing your own self-image, monitoring how you look, how you sound, if you're succeeding, if you're failing.
It's a full-time job. It's exhausting.
So what if that job gets canceled? You suddenly have this massive amount of freed up bandwidth. You aren't filtering every interaction through the lens of, what does this say about maybe? You can actually see the person in front of you. You can see the situation clearly.
So you become more effective because you aren't so self-obsessed.
You become more responsive. The text calls it a shift in posture. Life is no longer a problem to be solved or a destination to be reached. It's encountered directly.
Encountered directly. That sounds intense.
It is intense. Real life is much more intense than our fantasies about it. But we're usually too busy looking at our maps to even see the terrain we're standing on.
The text ends with these 3 pillars. It says 3 things end seeking: silence, constraint, and truth. I want to spend a minute on these because they sound a bit abstract. Silence, I kind of get quieting the internal noise. But constraint, how does constraint end seeking? We usually think we want freedom, not constraint.
It's totally counterintuitive. We think freedom means endless options. I can be anything, go anywhere. But that endless option mindset is what keeps the seeker running.
Maybe the answer's over there. No, wait, maybe it's over there.
The FOMO of the soul.
Yeah.
Constraint means accepting this body, this life, this moment. You constrain your attention to what is actually here. When you accept the constraint of the present, you stop trying to escape it.
And when you stop trying to escape, the seeking just ends.
So constraint is actually what anchors you. It anchors you in reality, which leads to the third one.
Truth.
Fidelity to what is real.
Yeah, and not truth with a capital T, like some big cosmic download of information.
Right. But the simple, small truth of what is happening. The text says seeking ends, not because nothing remains to be lived, but because nothing remains to be found.
Nothing remains to be found.
The scavenger hunt is over.
Yeah.
You can check your pockets. The prize has been there the whole time.
That's a terrifyingly simple conclusion. It basically says, you're done. You can stop interviewing for the job of you. You already got it.
And ironically, once you stop interviewing for the job, you can finally start actually doing the work.
So here's the thought I want to leave you with today, and it's a bit of a challenge.
Okay.
Look at your to-do list for this week. Not the grocery list, but the me project list. The things you're doing to become smarter, calmer, fitter, better.
The list of conditions you've placed on your own happiness.
Exactly. And imagine just for a moment that the premise of that list is wrong. Imagine you aren't building a better version of yourself. Imagine you are just expressing the one that's already here.
Ask yourself, if I wasn't doing this to get somewhere, would I still do it?
If the answer is yes, keep doing it. But if the answer is no, maybe it's time to relinquish it.
Stuff the motion and just see what happens.
It's scary, but we're right there with you. Thanks for diving deep.
See you next time.